closed system, which means it's got to, if it's produced here, it's got to circulate somewhere, and then it's got to empty somewhere. So I have my two lateral ventricles, and some of you went to learn, the horns that are associated with it, okay? Then from the lateral ventricles, it passes through the interventricular foramen into the third ventricle. That little opening that you see on this model, the hole, that's my interthalamic connection. That solid material that's been, that's why it's open there. So from the third ventricle, we go down the cerebral aqueduct to then my fourth ventricle. I have two lateral apertures and then one median. The two lateral apertures actually send the CSF out, and it goes around the cerebrum in the subarachnoid space, and it goes around the spinal cord. So when you're taking and doing a lumbar puncture, then you're taking the fluid below the spinal cord. You don't want to hit the spinal cord. So you go below, just below about L2 to L3, pull it out, and then you check for anything that might be in there. So then, if it goes around the cerebrum, it will then eventually get to the, let's see, on your meninges, you have this thing here. It's this, I'm going to go ahead and show you this one here. What this represents then is meninges are the covering that you find around the brain and the spinal cord. The outermost is called the dura mater. Okay, and that dura mater then is like corrugated cardboard. It has one layer that attaches directly onto the bone, which we call the periosteal dura. And then the one that goes down is called the meningeal dura. This meningeal dura right here goes into the longitudinal fissure. You're going to find out in a couple of lectures that this is called my falx cerebri. It goes into the longitudinal fissure. This one here is going to be my tentorium cerebelli. It looks like a tent on top of my cerebellum. This goes into my transverse cerebral fissure. Now, if you'll notice on this right here up at the top, you have this dark blue line. That represents blood, venous blood. So going up into this little area, there are little, they look like little grains of sand. They're called arachnoid villi, and they extend into this, and under pressure, it goes into this venous return. That's called the dural sinus. It's not a true blood vessel. That's why we have to call it a sinus. Okay? So that space then is where the CSF makes its way back into the venous return, and then back and circulating to the heart, and then